You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Hello, pet parents. This is Michelle Fern, host of Best Bets for Pets on Pet Life Radio. Okay, for this next show, your doggies are going to say, yum, yum, I want that. I'm telling you, that's what they're going to be, not saying, but, in their own way, that's what they're going to be telling you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
When I adopted her, she was a mess. Scabs, itching, licking, missing fur, hot spots, a thin, dull coat. So I take the dog to the vet for the standard run-of-the-mill tests and treatments. No results. I hear your advertisement on the radio.
DINOVITE.com.
859-428-1000.
So I get the 5-pound box of Dinovite and the Lico Chops within a 4-week total. Instead of a German Setter, I have a German Shepherd. Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life because she gets fed Dinovite. And the results, they're just incredibly outstanding. And she loves it. When you rescue a dog, you have to do the right thing. You've got to feed them right for life. Do the Dinovite. Dinovite for life.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your 4-legged fashions today. Large or small, we fit them all. DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I'd like to introduce Jerel Kwek. He is the CEO and co-founder of Addiction Foods. Welcome, Jerel.
Thank you for having me, Michelle.
So I'm so excited for you to be here. So tell everybody, what is Addiction Foods?
Well, Addiction Pet Foods is a company I started a number of years ago because I wanted to find a food for my dog that my dog would do well on. So I had this golden retriever that struggled with allergies all his life. So he kept having these pustules and red skin problems, shedding hair as well as itchy skin. And I was really sending him from vet to vet and at a loss to how he could solve his skin problem. And the vets would do was just give more and more steroids to the poor dog, and he ended up having lots of side effects caused by these steroids. So I wanted to find a very low allergy diet to help him with the skin problems. So I kind of connected with this veterinary nutritionist who I used to volunteer with when I was in school, and he suggested feeding our dog brushtail, which is actually a marsupial found in New Zealand. So this marsupial found in New Zealand is actually really high in omega-3 fatty acids, and it was a very novel and unique protein. And because this protein was so novel, unique, the dog would have a much less chance of responding to it with an allergic reaction. So I tried that on my dog, and it worked like a miracle. So he stopped having all this itchy and scratchy skin. So I said, look, I have to do this. I have to provide this food and this solution and option for lots of dogs and cats, which I knew were struggling with similar problems. So that's how we started the company.
That's so interesting. There's so many companies have started out of a need, especially for pets, out of a need to find something to make our pets more comfortable, more, at ease if they do have an ailment. And you literally went to the ends of the earth to find this great protein in New Zealand. So I think that's amazing. And I have to correct myself. Addiction Pet Foods, it's called.
That's correct, yes.
you have dog food. Do you have cat food as well?
That's right. So, over the years, we've expanded our line, our range of pet foods. So we have a wide range of novel and unique proteins. We have kangaroo, we have lamb, we have salmon, we have brushtail, we have buffalo, we have turkey, we have rabbit. So we really have the widest range of novel and low allergy proteins for dogs and cats with allergies. And we've produced them in our family-owned plants in New Zealand. And we chose New Zealand, as you've rightly said, it's really the ends of the earth. There are more sheep than there are people, but it's the most pristine and the cleanest place in the world to produce pet food. We know all the animals are free range. We don't cage the animals. There's no hormones, artificial hormones given to animals. Antibiotic use is not common in New Zealand in raising the meats and animals. So the cleanliness and how pristine the country is. And we wanted to have that in our foods that we manufacture. So we set up home in New Zealand, which is really very far away. But hopefully that provides really with the highest quality and, most pristine food we can actually offer our pet owners.
Well, I was actually in New Zealand I had a layover for several hours on the way to Australia. It is quite far away because we're in the States recording.
That's right.
So it's quite a ways away, but it's a beautiful country. And it's amazing what you'll find when you look for it, because there's things in other places that are a lot better for our fur kids than what we have locally. Now,
absolutely.
Let's talk about taste, because we've got some samples at the studio, and let me tell you, the box is brought. Okay, the test crew was all standing around, which is we have our small test crew and our expanded. Mr. Z, Nikki, and the dentist were all standing around as soon as the boxes arrived. They don't do that often, but they could smell it from, I don't know how they have sense of smell, but they can smell it from the box. Then we had our extended test crew, Jet, and a picky. He's more picky about what he has. He's a lab and taken care of. He has his own bedroom and everything. So I had to get some different opinions, because all of them. Now, all the test crew has different appetites. The dentist is a cat. He's kind of everything, but he likes dog food. Nikki eats just about anything like a vacuum, and he's Havanese. Mr. Z is a mutt, and he's big, and he's border collie mix. You would think he did everything. He's the pickiest of everything. Now, Jet's in the middle. He's a little fussy, but he's a little not as bad as Mr. Z. And I was amazed that all of them loved the addiction food samples, the addiction pet food samples.
That's what we call it, addiction. That's what we call addiction, because... exactly.
I was shocked because generally, I know Nikki will like it, but Mr. Z is usually, he's very fussy. I don't know what happened, because he's a big dog. You don't get that in big dogs. You get that in little dogs. But he ate it and he said, where's more? And it was, he was coming off an illness, so I was so happy he liked it, and I was so happy to have something healthy for him. But it was like you have magic in there. Besides the healthy ingredients, there must be some magic. Now, you have all these unique kind of flavors. What does that mean for our pets? Because we hear kangaroo, and I think, kangaroo? But for pets, it's probably pretty healthy. Right.
Well, so, I think when we talk about quality of pet food, we always try to look at things like not just the amount of protein, but the quality and digestibility of the protein. So if I put a leather boot in a bag and I test it for the level of protein in the bag, that would be very high. But the protein wouldn't be very well digested. So when we choose protein sources, we choose them to be hormone-free, which is very important, antibiotic-free, which is, again, very, very important as well, and also high digestibility and proteins with good levels of fatty acids, which are important for skin and coat health and even cardiovascular health. So we're very selective about the type of proteins that we use. In the case of kangaroo, it's a wild animal, it has very high levels of CLA, which is very good for cardiovascular health. It's actually a pest in Australia. Kangaroo is actually native to Australia. It's a big pest there. So we actually take a pest and turn it into pet food, which is good for the environment. So we're very selective on how we choose our protein sources. and how we actually turn these protein sources into high-quality pet food. So we're very careful with the way we cook them. We don't denature the proteins. We use low-temperature processing so that retains a lot of integrity with the protein, and that makes sure that the dog or cat gains the most benefit out of eating those protein sources. So,
Jerel, I'm a consumer. I have my fur baby on this food, and they're doing okay. But, senior dog, and I'd like to maybe do something better, but they're okay with the food. What would be the advantages to switching? Is it going to make that much of a difference? Because I know people out there thinking about, well, this food sounds great, but is it going to make that much of a difference? It sounds like a wonder food. What are your takes on, your experience in testing and having people try it and write to your company and all of that?
Well, I always suggest to our pet parents that they should take their pet's food very seriously, because I think it has a huge implication to the quality and the health of the dog or cat. And that's why read the label, read the background of where the ingredients come from, and learn as much as possible about nutrition. So, there are many very good pet foods out there in the market, but we are very focused about really finding the best quality ingredients and manufacturing our foods with a great amount of integrity. We're family owned, so that means we put our pets over profits for sure. I mean, that's my personal mission and vision, is to create, really great foods that nourish the bonds between pets and their owners. So that's really core to what we believe in. So research the foods that you feed, realize that the ingredients make a big difference in the quality of the dog's health. And I think that, results in happier and healthier dogs and cats with good quality food.
Well, that definitely makes sense. Are there on your site, now say my dog doesn't have any coat problems but has an upset, his stomach is very sensitive. Can I go to your website and look up what the best food would be if my dog has a sensitive stomach?
Absolutely. So we have a lot of novel protein diets. So if your dog and cat doesn't have allergies, then I would suggest to feed a variety diet to your dog or cat. And that means feed different types of protein, different types of foods, whether it's a mix between wet foods and dry foods. So you, in essence, give a great variety of different ingredients and nutrients to your dog and cat. We talk about never feeding your child food from a bag of food for the rest of your child's life. So why would you do the same with your dog or cat? So we believe in providing variety. So, one day you could feed our salmon blue, and the next day it could be our lamb or our Vivella venison, dry food, and mix it up with a bit of our rabbit. So that gives a lot of variety to your dog and cat, lots of great nutrition. But if your dog or cat has an allergy, then you have to focus on avoiding the proteins that trigger this allergy. So, and that sometimes takes a bit of time because it's a process of elimination and deciding and really monitoring the coat health and the digestive health, and then identifying which are the trigger proteins that cause these sensitivities or allergies. So at that stage, then you want to eliminate those proteins that cause a problem. So very often, these proteins that trigger allergies, the common proteins like chicken, sometimes beef, sometimes lamb as well, but also proteins that come from vegetable sources like corn or wheat or soy. So you'll see that our food we don't have soy, corn or wheat in any of our dry foods. And that's because we know that these types of grains trigger a lot of allergies. So in making a food as low allergy as possible, we've eliminated those ingredients from our diet, as with our artificial preservatives or flavorings. So these often cause allergies as well. So we've eliminated those from our diets from day one. So that's a good place to start, making sure you remove the grains from the diet.
Okay, you said something before, and I've heard different, so I wanted to just clarify. You said that it's good to change the food, and I've heard sometimes changing food is not good. We're talking just keep the same type of food, but just change the flavor up a little bit, or keep this, like for my crew, I keep the kibble the same, and I'll change the wet food a little bit, but not too much.
Right. So that's a really fantastic question. And I think there's a lot of confusion over this because of what pet food manufacturers have been saying for decades. And what they traditionally say is that if your dog does well on this food, feed this to your dog for the rest of your dog's life. And we don't believe that this to be the case, because we feel passionately that dogs should get a varied diet. And that means, different types of kibble, different types of protein sources. So it could be a kibble and it could be lamb today. It could be salmon tomorrow. It could be venison the next day. So mix it up so your dog and cat has different types of protein. And this prevents overwhelming the dog's immune system with only one type of protein and preventing potential food allergies in the future. And what happens is that you find that a dog on different types of foods will actually have a healthier gut, healthier immune system, because their gut is adapted processing and digesting different types of protein sources, different types of foods. However, if your dog or cat has only eaten one type of food for its entire life and you suddenly switch to a new food, then you may have an issue with, gastrointestinal issues. So that's why we always recommend in switching to a new food, switch slowly over a period of weeks.
Yes, and that's a nice way to put it. Stomach problems. What that means, that I can tell you, because I have a senior dog, with senior dogs, I think it's more of an issue, and you have to move a little slower sometimes. What that means is you get messy number twos and you get gas,
vomiting,
for lack of a better way to put it.
Vomiting and loose stools. Yeah, that's what happens.
Well,
the dog, is switched to new food suddenly.
Luckily, the last time I had to deal with vomiting, and that was a serious issue with Mr. Z's liver, but I think it was just an infection. So far, so good. So we're very happy about that. So let's now talk about something more fun instead of messes that our babies make. You have Addiction Pet Foods has an exciting contest coming up that everyone, you're going to have to act on this really quickly. It's your Ends of the Earth test. What's that about?
So we have an Ends of the Earth contest going on till the 15th of October. And what this contest is about our fur parents sharing and pet parents sharing stories about how they go to the ends of the earth for their pets. So we have great stories being shared about all the different things that people do for their pets. So they can go online and share these stories. And the best stories win a trip to New Zealand. And also lots of interesting addiction swag and lots of free food and lots of great prizes. So come online to our website, addictionfoods.com, and share your story and enter to be in the chance to win a trip to New Zealand.
Wonderful. Good luck, everybody. So, Jerel, we've talked a lot about how wonderful Addiction Pet Foods are, and I hinted a little bit, Mr. Z's getting up there. He's definitely an old dude. He's 11, and I want to keep him around a lot longer, but I know that senior dogs, their stomachs tend to be a little more sensitive than younger dogs. How is Addiction Pet Foods better for senior dogs than maybe some of the other pet foods that are out there?
Well, I think with senior dogs, you have a digestive system that is less effective as it used to be before. And what that means is that the stomach cannot digest protein and energy as well as it could before. So it's important to give your senior dog a diet that is high in calories and high in protein and digestible protein. So we have our foods like our dehydrated foods, which are really foods that have been gently processed, gently pasteurized, very gentle treatment of the food. So the digestibility is excellent. The digestibility of the proteins, very little denaturing of the proteins. We find that those type of foods work really well on senior dogs in allowing them to absorb their nutrients in a way that perhaps traditional kibble doesn't offer them.
That's wonderful. It's great to have a good alternative for our senior dogs because, as you said, they're, it's just like people. I mean, you age and things don't work quite as good as they used to, work.
Absolutely.
And the same for our senior fur babies, Now, where can people find out more about Addiction Pet Foods?
Well, the best place to find out more is our website, www.addictionfoods.com. And we have lots of great information about products. We have product videos, lots of nutritional information, articles about nutrition and our training and diet. So that's a great place to start learning more about pet food nutrition.
Is there a store locator for people that are looking to purchase addiction pet foods?
There is on our website. And, our foods can be found on Amazon.com as well as Chewy.com. So with lots of online options for customers who can't find their foods in their neighborhood retailer.
Wonderful. Jerel, it's been so wonderful having you on and talking about addiction pet foods. And for everyone listening, thinking about, should I try it? I'm telling you, we had test crew and extended test crew call out to thanks, Jet. And they loved it. Loved it. I had no stomach upsets, and I didn't really do what I was supposed to do, which is gradually try it, because we have the show coming up. I had to let them try it out, see how you like it.
Right.
And it was paws up, paws up.
Awesome.
They loved it. So thank you so much for sending samples, and thank you so much for coming on Best Bets for Pets.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Pleasure being here. Thank you for having us.
I'd like to thank my guest, Jerel Kwek, the CEO and co-founder of Addiction Pet Foods. They are, Pet Crew had, so much fun. They loved the food. And shout out to Jet, because he took part too. I wanted a youngster, and he's a young dude with a feisty appetite, and he really liked the food too. So thanks, Jet. And thanks to my core crew, Nikki, Mr. Z, and the Dennis, who tried everything out and was very happy. Paws up, baby. They love the food. And I'd like to thank my producer, Mark Winter, for making me and my guests sound good. Thanks to everyone out there. Best Bets for Pets has over 500,000 listeners a month. Wow. We've come a long way in 7 years. And we're still rocking. Actually 6 years, but it feels longer. So 6 years. Come a long way in 6 years, and we're still rocking on. So thank you for listening. Thank you for telling your friends with pets or thinking about pets, about Best Bets for Pets. We have all kinds of cool products. If you have any suggestions, you can send me an email at michelle@petliferadio.com. Keep listening. There's a lot more shows coming our way.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.